Hello viewers, I welcome us to today's class. Today I will be teaching us how to write a lesson plan. I know so many of us have been having nightmares and on how to write a lesson plan. Many of us must have gone to interviews, and what stopped us from securing that good job, that teaching job in all these big schools is because we could not write a lesson plan. Some of us are teaching and we are not enjoying the class. We are not enjoying the teaching because we don't know how to write a lesson plan. Writing of lesson plan is very paramount. If you know how to write a lesson plan, one, it helps you to save time and it also helps you to master your class. You will be in control of your class. Why? Because you have planned your lesson. So what is a lesson plan? A lesson plan is just a blueprint into what is being expected during the teaching and learning experience. What is now the teaching and learning experience? Teaching and learning experience is that moment when the teacher is in the classroom, that moment when the teacher is teaching. That is what we call the teaching and learning experience, because it's an experience. The teacher teaching is experiencing something and the students learning are also experiencing something. You can get the definition I gave you about a lesson plan, where I said a lesson plan is a detailed guide or blueprint that outlines the objectives, instructional strategies, activities, materials, and assessment methods for a specific lesson or unit of instruction. I decided to break down the lesson plan into various components so that it will be very easy for you to understand. And I broke it down into the first one. I broke it down into lesson title, lesson objective, entry behavior or prior knowledge, materials and resources, instructional strategies, lesson procedure, differentiation and adaptation, assessment and evaluation, closure and reflection. I'm going to explain each of these components to you. So the first one, which is lesson title. The lesson title is just a concise and descriptive title that summarizes the main focus of the lesson. And the focus of the lesson here includes the name of the school, the subject you are teaching, the topic you are teaching, the duration, the period, the sex of the student, and so on. All those details are the ones I captured under the component lesson title. Then after that, the next thing is lesson objective. It is under these lesson objectives now that the educational objectives comes in. So the lesson objective is a clear and measurable statement that describe what students are expected to know, understand, or be able to do by the end of the lesson. So it is at this point now that you write something like, at the end of the lesson, the students should be able to, you put your semicolon, should be able to, one, define dash, explain dash, and the rest of it. So that's where those ones fall in under the lesson objective. Then the next one is the entry behavior or prior knowledge. The entry behavior or prior knowledge is just an assessment or brief overview of students' existing knowledge or skills related to the lesson topic. This entry behavior is just like, let me say, what the students already know before coming to the classroom. What do they actually know regarding that topic you are about to teach them? That is the entry behavior. The entry behavior is what they already know relating to that topic you are about to teach. That is the entry behavior. And this will help you as a teacher to be able to tailor instructions that can help the students to build up into what you are about to teach them. Because a situation whereby you don't know the entry behavior of the students, it will be very hard for you to cue them into understanding what you are about to teach. The next one after the entry behavior and the prior knowledge is the materials and resources. Under these materials and resources, it is here that you as a teacher you will mention all the teaching materials that you have. Here you give a detailed or a list of all the materials, resources, and technology you need in order to facilitate that lesson, such as textbooks, handouts, multimedia resources, or any specific equipment that you have in your disposal for the teaching of that particular topic. Then the next one I have instructional strategies. These instructional strategies, they are detailed explanations of the teaching methods, techniques, and approaches that will be used during the class, that will be used during the teaching experience. And this could include, let me say, it can include direct instructions, group work, discussions, demonstrations, and so on. They are just instructional strategies. You can either call them instructional strategies or you call them teaching method. It can even be lecture method. So there are many of them, group work and so on. So it depends on the type you want to use in the classroom. So you indicate it at this stage, and you now enter into the teaching proper. The teaching proper is what we call lesson procedure. Normally, in your lesson plan, it is called instructional procedure. So under this lesson procedure, it is a step-by-step outline of the sequence of activities and tasks that will take place during the lesson, including estimated time allocated for each segment. You are going to indicate it. Each segment, introduction, 5 minutes, definition, 2 minutes, and so on. You are going to indicate how many minutes you are going to use for each of the segments. Because when you do it this way, it's going to provide you a clear structure and also ensure smooth transition between different components of your lesson. Then the next one after the lesson procedure, I gave you another component, which is differentiation and adaptations. Differentiation and adaptation is the considerations for meeting the diverse needs of the learners, including modification, accommodation, or extensions to support students with varying abilities, learning styles, or language proficiency. So why did I bring in this differentiation adaptation? It's never possible that every student in a classroom learn at the same speed. And it is never possible that all students in a classroom think alike. There is this thing we call individual differences that exist in a classroom. So in order for you to be able to manage your class well and carry everybody along, that is where this differentiation and adaptation falls in. Differentiation and adaptation has to do with the introduction of stimulus variation into the classroom. What do I mean? Introduction of teaching methods that are varying, that can be able to accommodate all the students in the class. Maybe as you are teaching, you are going to indicate, okay, that in order for you to carry students along, you are going to use questioning and reinforcement. While you are using questioning and reinforcement, you are still going to go further to do plan repetition and all these things, you understand, in order to carry students along in the class. So that is where the differentiation and adaptation comes in. Then after that, the next one is assessment and evaluation. The assessment and evaluation comes while the class is still going on and even at the end of the class. So you are still going to indicate it in your lesson plan. Assessment and evaluation. So the assessment and evaluation are strategies for assessing student learning and understanding, such as formative or summative assessment. Formative assessment as those type of assessment that comes while the class is going on. Let's say, for example, as you are teaching, you ask questions. Those are formative assessment. Then that one you will ask them at the end of the class when you are done teaching everything is known as summative assessment. So you indicate. If you are going to do formative assessment, then you are going to indicate the questions you are going to ask the students in your lesson plan. So that once you get to that level where you want to ask that question, you will ask the question. The questions are already there in your lesson plan. You just go ahead and ask the students. You stand up. Chidimma, what is a noun? You understand? Something like that. Chidebere, what is a pronoun? And stuff like that. Because why? You already have them there written down. So this assessment can also be in form of quiz, discussions, or even project. Then the next one, which is the last one, is the closure and reflection. It is a conclusion or summary of the lesson, including a brief wrap-up activity to reinforce key concepts and allow students to reflect on their learning. And this closure and reflection includes opportunities for students to ask questions and also provide feedback. So these are the components that make up a lesson plan. These are the components that make up a lesson plan. We are, by the end of this video tutorial, we are going to design a lesson plan using all these components. And once we do it, you'll find out that making a lesson plan is as easy as anything, because lesson plans are flexible and can vary depending on the subject, grade level, and teaching style. But no matter how they vary, these key components are applicable in all of them. They are applicable in all of them. For you to be able to understand how to execute each of the components I mentioned earlier, there are certain important things that you must take note of. And these important things you must take note of is that, one, you must have a good knowledge on Bloom's taxonomy. Secondly, you must have a very good knowledge on the domains of learning. And then thirdly, you must be knowledgeable on teaching skills, or let me say on teaching methods and strategies. The understanding of these three important points will help you to be able to have a good lesson plan. So in our next video, we are going to look at the Bloom's taxonomy. We'll look at the three domains of learning and also the teaching method and strategies. And at the end of it, I assure you that if you follow this video to the very end, you will be able to draft out a lesson plan and a lesson note professionally. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.